my friends, I'm glad to see you made it, for we have gathered here today in the name of Jesus Christ. Glory be to God, He's alive. Today, my friends, we're going to be going over chapters 34 of the book of Genesis, and we're going over Dinah's story, the daughter of Jacob and Leah, the first daughter born to the promise of Abraham. And we come to find out, Jacob makes up with Esau. He makes up, meets the angel of the Lord out in the wilderness, has all these great things. His name is changed from Jacob to Israel. And all these great things happen. And then all of a sudden, they come to this place. And I don't know the best way to describe it in today's realm, or the way I imagine it, is when they meet Hamar, the Hivitite, or whatever. He's like prince of the land, but he's not like a king of a kingdom or anything. This is more like Bonanza, right? We got the Ponderosa, we got Bonanza and the Ponderosa, and we got Ben Cartwright, and we got Little Joe, and we got Haas and Adam. And so they are control over all the land, right? They got a huge ranch, and everything on their ranch is pretty good, and they kind of monitor their land and their stuff. And so through that, in good management of their things, that they become well known and respected people throughout their area. And so Jacob and his family, right now he's got 12 boys, or, well, I don't think Rachel died yet, but anyway, we got the boys and we got the girls, and he's got his wife and the concubines, or the slave girls. And that's pretty much all there is, and then his flocks, and probably a few people to help him take care of the flocks, because only the older boys, or the few oldest boys, were able to help at that time, where the others, like Joseph and Benjamin, they're little boys, they're children. So they're hanging out, right, and they camp out at a nice place. They see the Ponderosa, and everything's well, and so in that, you always feel comfortable or protected, right? If you were out traveling along out in the wilderness or someplace, and you camped out with just you and your family, you alone, you're kind of vulnerable. So you kind of always migrate towards safety, and you find safety in numbers, right? So there they are. And Dinah, the daughter, she decides she's going to go visit some of the women of the land. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, who was the chief of the region, saw her, and he seized her, and he laid with her by force. Since he was strongly attracted to Dinah, daughter of Jacob, indeed he was really in love with the girl. He endeavored to win her affection. Shechem also asked his father Hamor to get me this girl for a wife. And so that's the thing, is Dinah, the first daughter of the promise, of God's promise, of Abraham's promise. This is their first encounter. They're probably many months, or in fact probably many years out there journeying and that, and all she knows is got 11 brothers or 12 brothers and a dad and all these men around her, right? First experience to ever meet a stranger. Stranger danger. And he rapes her and violates her, right? And she was just out on minding her own business, wanting to see what the other women was. Probably never seen no other women. Don't even know what these people were like. Wonder what they're going through, We always were wondering if we're all alone and going through some situation in loneliness. And is there anybody out there that can understand me? And here God's saying, here, check out my very firstborn daughter. her very first experience to meeting this world was being raped and being violated. Meanwhile, Jacob heard that Shechem had defiled his daughter Dinah. But since his sons were out in the field with his livestock, he held his peace until they came home. So he kind of held it back, right? And in this story, and all the story of these boys, as we go through Jacob's story, his children, all the way through Joseph's story, you come to find out the importance of the book of Proverbs, because it's like an unveiling of the book of Proverbs, right? Only a fool slanders his neighbor. And this is where we come to see right here, what are the effects of the slandering of a neighbor? There's a consequence to sin. And that's the thing. As we see, God begins to establish his law, establish the difference between right and wrong. All right? And in this story, these people are young with God. We got Abraham, we got Isaac, and then we got Jacob. Abraham, we're only third man in, so we're still like babies walking with God. Right? We're not fully matured. He just got a new name, right? Jacob, the heel grabber, the backbiter or backslider, right? Or Israel, one who wrestles with God or strives with God. Some people say one who no longer wrestles with God, but goes from heel grabber to God governed. You see a lot of here that there's Jacob and there's Israel. Jacob, Israel. Jacob, like, are these two different people? Well, in the way it is. Because Israel is when the whole family is gathered and we're all of one body and of one mind and of one spirit. Jacob is a loner. He's a man. But when Jacob is Israel, he's of one mind, body, and spirit with his whole family in agreement with God's will. Now, it says, this guy really loved her though. He didn't know the difference between right and wrong. I guess back in the day, 4,000 years ago, like we watch on, the Flintstones, the way you got a woman was you went and grabbed her by her hair and she was yours. And Jacob and his family are like, whoa, that's not how we get married in our family. You defiled our woman, You got to be married first. You got to create a relationship first. You got to care for this girl first, right? And the boys are really mad. Now all the brothers are extremely upset. When they heard the news, the men shocked and seized with indignation. What Shechem had done was an outrage in Israel. Such a thing could not be tolerated. Hamor appealed to them, saying, "My son Shechem has his heart set for your daughter. Please give her to him in marriage. Intermarry with us. Give us your daughters." And it's amazing, they only got the one daughter. This is all we got. This is one girl. There's no other girls. The other ones are Jacob's wives. Jacob's 90, right? This 90-year-old lady, and then they got the girl. And, oh yeah, we all want the girl, right? Girls were highly valued. Highly valued at this day and age. They were not just property, but they were valued in this day and age. Today, where women are always seeking to get equal value. I got to be just like a man. I got to get, where's my value? Where's my worth? Right? Pay me what I'm owed. And here, women had such great value. Such great value. So he starts pleading with them, and he says, please, my son, he really loves Dinah. He really loves her. In fact, let's just all marry, and we'll intermingle, and we'll just be one happy family. Right? That they don't even see what's wrong with it. No knowledge of difference between good or evil. Let's just party down and have a party, right? And the men, Jacob's, and that replied to his father with great guile. They're angry, speaking, the boys. Right? As you guys have defiled him, we cannot do such a thing, they said. As to give our sister to an uncircumcised man. That would be disgrace for us. We will agree with you only if under one condition. That you become like us. Just like us. Having every male among you circumcised. Then we will give you our daughters and take yours in marriage. We will settle among you and become one kindred people with you. But if you do not comply with our terms regarding circumcision, we will take our daughter and go away from you. So if you don't comply with this, then we'll take our daughter, we'll take our girl, our sister, our children, and we're out, right? And so this is like either the world's greatest war strategy ever invented, or what? Because that's the thing, here you could have came with swords and might and all that, and no, in that day, we're talking 4,000 years ago, and this is the knife, not a rusted up piece of, there's no anesthetic, there's no Tylenol, and there's no rubbing alcohol. Vaseline ain't even invented yet. This is what they got, man. And hey, do you want to have sex with one of our girls? You're going to do it with yourself. And all the men. And we only got one girl, but every man in your town circumcised. Right? You got to cut the foreskin off the head of your most vulnerable piece of property on your body. Right? And they all agreed. And they all agreed to it. And they agreed to it because they thought, if we, they're here, they're kind of nice people. And boy, look at all the stuff they got. And if we just let them in and we do this one thing, then we'll have everything they'll own. They'll just be one of us. Right? They'll just be like one of us. Now, Paul says, right, we're not talking about the circumcision of the flesh, but of the heart. Of the heart. Same with Jesus. Same with Jesus in our lives. It is, if we're not willing to be circumcised in the heart, then he's not willing to marry us. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta be just like us. You gotta do everything just like us. And that's why Jesus Christ come to be just like these people, this world, to carry on the sin, to be a man made of flesh. Right? So that the two could become one. One people. And if you're not willing to do this, then we'll take our daughters and go away. Jesus Christ says, if you don't love me, how can I love you? He says, if you really love me, then you love me more than your mothers and your fathers and your daughters and your children's. Like this was a fine pearl out in the middle of the wilderness. Right? And they were willing to sacrifice, to get hurt, to shed blood, their own blood, to gain a friend. To gain a friend. Now the wickedness of the hearts of these boys took advantage of that. Right? They got the whole town agreed. Now they're sore. Right? There ain't no anesthetic. There's probably infection. Man, I think one of these would give me an infection. Now everybody's infected. Everybody's sore. Everybody's bleeding, full of pain. And they go in and kill every man out of revenge, out of anger. How dare you prostitute our daughter, our sister? Jacob finds out about the news and he's angry, livid, mad. Like we came to an agreement. We had an agreement with these guys. And you went and murdered them? Jesus Christ says, yeah, everybody who came into heaven before he got here who was murderers, thieves, robbers, and rapists. All of them. It's amazing that they kill these people, take all their women, take all their animals, take everything they got and bring it back to Jacob, Israel, and he's mad. He's so angry. You guys have brought ruin to me. Ruin to me, ruin to the promise, ruin to yourselves. What ruin to us? And all the boys could say, but how could we allow them to call your daughter a prostitute? How could we allow them to do that? God comes to them and says, hey, I want you guys out of here now. Let's go. And there they take all their gods and the foreign gods and earrings off and everything, and they stuff them under a tree because this God consumes in a burning fire. And that's the thing, it makes me come to realize that Jesus Christ is the only one who has seen or heard from God. And the rest were deceived by fiery ministering angels. They murder these Hivite guys. God says, okay, I'm going to take you to the promised land. And all of a sudden, they murder these people. And then, after this murder occurs, okay, here's your reward. Here's your reward. And then it gives them this land, in this perishable land, in a land where it can be shaken, can be taken away at any time. A false hope. And I'm not saying anything bad against Jacob or anything else. Jesus Christ came to release these men and women who had been held bondage under the yoke of slavery to something they thought was right, they thought was okay, that they thought was justification. But later come to find out, we are the slaves to the very thing we hate. Because I'm the one performing the deeds of the very things we hate. And no forgiveness, no mercy, no love. So you get the reward of the promised land. Satan came right to Jesus and says to Jesus, puts him on this pillar on top of the cities where he could see everything. Right? Bow down to me, and I'll give you everything you see. Right? Jesus says to Satan, no, you bow down to the Lord, your God. Right? What masters over us in our heart? And that's what Jesus came to free these people from. The inability to forgive. Forgiveness. Their inability to love their enemies. Right? Their inability to not be an adulterer. These guys are all of those things. Reuben, the oldest son, has sex with the mom, Jacob's wife. Well, the slave of his wife. His concubine, the elder woman. I know he's got like 4 wives, and his son is sleeping with the wife, the mother. This is what I come to free you from. Hell. Hell. Satan came to deceive man and make you think it's okay to hurt another person. And that's the thing with Jesus. Yeah, he died for our sins, but when we see the pain and the suffering he went through to take it away, so it doesn't exist anymore, so it has no power over your life, to take it out of your life so it can't be seen. And we go back to it. What does that say to God? Okay, if Jesus Christ said, hey, the only way you're getting into heaven is when you see that poor man suffering on the side of the road, and you pick him up and you bind his wounds up, because Christ in you is the answer to that man's prayer. And he's been waiting for the coming of our Lord. And who's his master? Who's going to answer that prayer? Christ in me? Because there's a real epidemic problem in the world today when we say, no, Geico is going to take care of you. No, State Farm is going to take care of you. No, the Prudential is going to take care of you. But me? That's the thing. With our world today. I can't change the world today. It is set in its ways. But what if you believe you had a value, and the value of your life was worthy of protection, of protecting? And you say, it's not war like these boys. It's not anger like these boys. It's not revenge like these boys. Well, what if I said to you, the only way to go to heaven, the only way to escape the fire and the hell of this place is to forgive your brother from your heart. Right? But what if the only way to escape this place was to forgive yourself from your heart? You know, you know how you take away Satan's power is, say it. Say it. I am forgiven. Say to yourself, the little child in you who is raped, murdered, beaten, or broken. Who had nothing to do. I was minding my own business. Right? Say to that child, you're forgiven. Right? You're forgiven. God forgives you. If God can forgive these nasty boys who went out to destroy and to defend God's daughter, see, the law's in place so that we know the difference between right and wrong. It is wrong to hurt, to violate, and to abuse. It is wrong. And what's the answer to it? Jesus Christ, who takes away the sin of the world. That's the answer. How do I get cured and healed from the oppression that was brought upon me? Jesus Christ takes away the pains and the sufferings of the world. For the brokenhearted he has come. For the meek, for the poor, and those who cannot do it themselves. And this is what we begin to see here in the Torah, of how these men and women were yoked to the slavery of Satan's work. I want to free you today. To free you today from the hate and the anger which has kept you in slavery. Unforgiveness, the inability to show mercy. I want to free you from that bondage so that you may love yourself in such a way you could believe you were God's daughter. You're looking for value in this world. Why do you think women are striving so hard for equal pay in this world? Because the value Jesus Christ offers isn't good enough. Because if it was good enough, if I believed in His word, there'd be nothing stopping me and my 4,000 buddies from seeing to it every homeless person on earth was worthy of health care. Health care comes from the heart of God's children. Let us be a part of that. That's what we see in these stories. There's a right way and there's a wrong way to achieve God's goal, God's will. Right? Jesus is willing to carry our bodies into an eternal glorification in God's kingdom, where there is no pain, sickness, hurt, or death, where health care is eternally abundant for all who want it. And Jesus Christ's vision is that kingdom would be manifested here in this world today. Let that kingdom come here on earth as it is in heaven. And the only thing that's going to make this happen are the sons of God. For all creation, all world, and everything on it are waiting for the sons of God to be revealed. Let the sons of God in His light shine. Let it shine through you. Let the world know. I am worth more than a piece of paper. For I have come in the name of the living God, Jesus Christ. Right? Remember that. Remember that. It's about the circumcision of the heart. Now we come to see it in our world. In our world, right? The Muslims are taking advantage of the Christians. Because we've been circumcised. We've got a circumcised heart. And it's not just the Muslims. It's all darkness. All powers that may be in this world trying to enforce its dark world plan of hate, anger, and division. Yet Jesus Christ comes and circumcises our heart. Puts us in a state of love. But in that, it's not a state of wimp. I sit in the corner and be a wimp. Jesus Christ was no wimp. It took the strongest man on earth to be beat down, broken down, pick up his cross, carry it to the thing, and hang there. While knowing all the time, the only way you guys are getting in is if I hang here till the end. He could have came down. Could have called 12 legions of angels to rescue him. To rescue him. But he said, I can't lose one. And if I don't take away the yoke, the lie that has been enslaving this world from day one, you'll never get in. You'll never get in. Forgive your brothers from your heart. Find a value and a self-worth within you, which comes from the Spirit of the living God that dwells in you today. Remember these words. Jesus Christ is coming. He's coming soon. Better hope today isn't our last day. See you next time.